All right, here we are again. Cool. So, welcome to the dungeon. Flameworking 101.8, and we're going to talk about very simple flowers. And I remember when I was first shown how to make a simple flower, and I just was like, oh my God, flowers, 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 flowers. It's amazing how learning something so simple can really, like, all of a sudden broaden your horizons on just that. I always try to take something and then just like work it pretty much to death until it's like, you know, something true and unique to myself. Everybody needs to know how to make just a simple flower. And it doesn't take much, just a few dots, and you're done. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you learn something that's inspiring. And if you have any comments or questions, always leave them at the at the door, and hopefully we'll get back to you if you do have any questions. Anyway, let's get to it. All right, so we're going to start this bead out with a big base layer of clear because I don't have a lot of white left, and I don't want to use a whole bunch of white to build this bead up because I want it to be fairly large. So you see I'm adding a lot of clear here. And the reason why I want it to be large is so I can show you guys basically how to put a whole bunch of flowers on it. So I'm just gonna roll it out, and I see that there's some bubbles in here, and I just, the bubbles. There's just two bubbles in there, and it's just really annoying me. So I'm rolling it out a little bit so I can get those bubbles to kind of come up to the surface. And then what I do is I slowly start to heat it to the point where the bubbles just pop. They do finally come to the surface, and there I have my clear glass. And I use Moretti Super Clear. So once that's cooled down a little bit, now I can add my coating of white. And I just kind of like, have my rod constantly being kind of pushed in and on the piece. I'm just kind of like twisting it on there, making sure that the whole thing is covered. And then I can heat that up, and white's great. It just will cover perfectly. So I want to make this nice and even, and I'm going to start to shape it just slightly into a barrel shape. It'll kind of end up being more of a bicone, as you can see here. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to add on a background. And my background, I'm going to use 3 different colors of green, and I'm just going to do my swiping method. So I get the glass hot and I just swipe it down on the cooler bead. You don't want the white to be hot, or you'll just move the white as well. So you're moving hot glass on that cooler white surface. And then adding where I need to make sure that it's even enough and there's, it's not too light. And then I have my third glass, and I am kind of also, as I swipe on, I'm also overlapping slightly the other colors. So you can see how those come together here. And I do a lot of marvering here. So here's my marvering table up here. And I do the sides. I like to really push those sides as tight in as they can go when I'm making this, so all the color kind of comes to the ends. There's other ways that you could do it, but for me, I don't want to get into trying to pick the color and everything. So just having those stripes to me was maybe too boring, I guess. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a technique called superheating, and I'm superheating it, but I'm constantly moving it. So what happens is the middle of the glass starts to sag because I'm turning slower, and the glass is moving faster than I can turn it, basically. And it gives you a cool background. All right, here we go, the flowers. This is easy, guys. It's one dot, and I'm laying these dots down in different areas, and then you put a second dot next to that other dot. It doesn't have to be the same size, but you know, that's when you want to maybe strive for. And just the 3 dots, make sure they do not touch each other. That's kind of why I put them on in a different pattern. I didn't put 3 on at once because that overheats that spot. So again, I just add 1 and then I'll move somewhere else. And plus that also keeps the glass warm all around. And like I said, I don't want the dot to touch the other dot. That's important. I mean, it's not huge, you know, it's not like the end of the world, but, you know, I mean, some of mine still touch, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but it just, I don't know, it separates the petals is what I'm saying. So here's our little flowers. You could totally put a dot in the center of each one of those and be done with it. But because they're white, I just want to add a couple different colors of violet, a dark, a medium, and a light. And I'm just kind of putting them on haphazardly instead of, you know, the 3 same colors on each flower. So I think this will look really nice, like, I don't know, like those little pansies or little, what do you call them? Come on. Anyway, I'll think of it. But I'm going to add those on. And I'm at the last color here. I'm just trying to figure out. I think I'm finished. And so I'm going to go ahead and use my butter knife. Anytime I push these, I try to push them all 3 at once. I want them all 3 to be the same heat when I push them down, or it's not going to flatten quite right, okay? You want to make sure you're completely flattening them down evenly. And then we are pretty much just about finished here. All we have to do is put our little tiny dots in the center, little tiny orange dots here. I just love the way this turns out. There's so many variations on just this simple flower alone. It's insane. So I'm glad I could share this with you. I'm going to add a couple more dots just because that's what I do. And we will continue soon at another time, at another date. So please, well, you'll see me in a second when I pull this bead out of the oven, or not. But yes, here we are, our finished flower. Make flowers, people. They make you happy, so look at how pretty that is. I love it. It's like a little bouquet. It is pretty. I can't wait to see how the real colors look when it comes out of the oven. Yay! All right, now it's time to see how our beautiful flowers came out. Yeah, this looks really good. Very cool. I like the colors. We'll give it a little clean out and we'll check it out in a better light. Now, always remember to keep your bead under the water while your Dremel tool with your diamond bit is out of the water. So it's a little tricky right there where they meet, but you don't want to get hurt. And be safe, and look at that, we're done.